Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Grayman Prepping. It is time for Tactical Tuesday. We're going to be talking about tactics, gear, and more. Actually, yeah, we're talking about all three of them tonight because tonight's topic is Major Mistakes That Preppers Make, Part 2. How's everybody doing out there? Oh, man, someone monkeyed with my camera again. Dang, stepped out of the room for a minute and get it set just right there. There we go. Well, let's see who's up. Oh, wow. Geez. I got 2 ads at the beginning, and now I got this 2 more ads going. And I don't know about the platform putting that many ads on there. And I got other emails from saying, "Oh, join our collaboration for among channels and stuff. You're an upcoming channel." Yeah, if I'm an upcoming channel, why are they friggin' blocking most of my views and not letting me get any of the money off the ads you guys are watching? All right. Anyway, so let's get up here and say hello to everybody. I got a couple more just came in, but let's jump to the top. So first one in was Shady Hill Homestead, then Mad Chick Acres, followed by Kaylin's Train, Angels Homestead, Utah Mike, Chit Chat and T-Boar's in the house, Prepper Girl 10, Diana 2, John's Life. Yeah. Don't just skip it. If it has like that, and on the right-hand side down below comments, if it has an ad thing about that, and some of them do, you click on the 3 dots and say, "This offends me." You actually click on it, block, then you click on report, and you go down to the last one. It's something else. You put, "This offends me." Yeah, I've been doing that to a lot of those left-wing political ads and stuff, especially the ones that you go on to. I'm going to watch someone's 5-minute video, and there's a commercial on it that's an hour and a half long. Oh, this offends me for multiple reasons. 1, the subject offends me. 2, it's offending me that you're putting an hour and a half ad on a 5-minute video. All right, as you can see, I'm still up here. Down here in California. Yeah. Like right now, I look it over here on my side here. I see one for Freeze Any Home in Minutes, sponsored, Best Tech Trend. And it's at the 3 dots. I'll just click on it and just block it, do it sometime. All righty. So about 3.5 years ago, I did one called Major Mistakes That Preppers Make. And I went back and reviewed that. And so we're going to look at this here and take a quick tour down memory lane really quick here, guys. So number 1 was they didn't have any plans at all. They had a bad bug out plan. They had no stored water. Food was not a priority for them until it's too late to get any. They stored food that they didn't eat. They stored more food than they could rotate through. In other words, they bought a bunch of food from the store, not freeze-dried food, just jars and cans of food that they would never go through before that food was bad or cans started popping. Next, there were 12, by the way, from back then. They get supply tunnel vision. They're just focused on, I need, this type of supplies. And it's either food or it's medical or it's weapons or whatever. They're just focused on one thing. And of course, following off that was weapons only. It's like, I got to get weapons. I got to have tons of weapons and ammunition. Got to have tons and tons of this stuff. Got to have the latest and greatest rifle, pistol, shotgun, whatever it is. Got to have the latest and greatest. Because if you don't have a good gun, you're not going to survive. That's that attitude that a lot of one of the major mistakes preppers make. They fall into that trap. The other one is the latest gear and nothing else. Oh, I got the latest and greatest compass. Even though this Boy Scout compass from 1952 works perfectly, I got to have the newest one. That's not only is it a compass, but it's digital and it's got all these bells and whistles on it. And then it leads to the next one is don't know how to use their gear. They got all this new gear and they don't know how to use it. And a lot of them haven't even taken it out of the bag yet. Okay. They have a lack of OPSEC, which is operational security. And they have event tunnel vision. They focus on one event and one event only. It's like, we're in Florida. All I'm going to prepare for is hurricanes. That's it. I'm not going to prepare for anything else. And it's like, well, other things happen in Florida besides hurricanes. Or they're up north. I'm focusing only on ice storms. And they don't focus on anything else. So that was the from the one 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago on major mistakes that preppers make. So let's go to part 2 here. I'm going to change it up a little bit. John's life. Hey, how'd I hang on? We got some comments that I need to get back up here for. Come on. How did I do on IFAC with only just out of date goodies with a cat for $25? I hate IFACs. In Scouts, we told them not to do just an individual first aid kit. Do a personal one for you. That's why each Scout had to have their own personalized first aid kit with the things that met their personal medical needs. All right, just check on everything there on the side chat. Okay. So let's go to the next one here. Come on, let's go. There we go. So I'm trying to make this more user friendly. Instead of harping on the bad side of it, we're going to talk about the same items. We're going to try to put a positive spin on it. Preppers need to have a base plan. A base plan covers just the basics. Food, water, medicine, shelter, communications, the basic stuff. Stuff that's not aimed particularly at any specific event. This is just the basic stuff to survive. Number 2 is they need to have high probability event plans. Now, what do I mean by that? All right, so let's go back down to Florida. Florida, high probability. Hurricanes, flooding, power outages, excessive heat. Things that are high probability for that area. Minnesota, tornadoes, winter storms, ice storms, power outages, stuff like that. California, earthquakes, power outages, wildfires, political numbnuts, things that happen all the time, bad things that happen there. Those are your high probability events. Let's see. Every good prepper should have alternate water sources, plural. And so if the water should run out, you have several different ways of getting water or different places you can go to get water. Now, I'm not talking about filtering water. I'm just talking about, do you have places to go to get water? Let me change it up just a little bit here. So I keep this camera. Okay, there we go. So let me go back to the other view here. There we go. So you need to have plenty of sources of water in case one of them, A, gets contaminated, B, gets taken over by a group that's not going to let you get water from there, or any other number of reasons why that one you can't use one of the sources of water. You'd have multiple ones. Shelter in place plan. Shelter in place. That means you're not bugging out. You are going to shelter in place, and you're going to, the event doesn't dictate that you have to leave. So you're sheltering in place, and you've got the plans to get along sheltering in place. All right. If you're going to be sheltering in place, you need to have a plan for it. Don't just, we're just going to stay here. Well, what are you going to do if you're just staying there? And some people just go, what we normally do. Well, you're going to be running to the store. Well, there ain't no store to run to. And so that's one of the things, a shelter in place plan has to dictate is, all right, you're stuck in the house. You're not leaving the house for a certain period of time. You're living off what you have there. Or you are leaving the house, it's just in the backyard. Take care of the yard and hopefully the garden you have, which goes on the next one. Prepper needs to start a garden now. Hang on, I'm checking the chat here. Working on a garden. Everyone needs to have a garden. Yes. Okay. Hostile groups would lucky be a rare problem for us? We're armed enough, even if highly trained groups give even highly trained groups a problem. They might get us in a rush, but not before they lose numbers. Yeah. Mother Earth Garden Club, welcome. All right. Yes. One of the things that a bunch of preppers listen to, some of the idiots out there, to say, all right, you don't need to worry about growing a garden. Just get seeds, lots of seeds, store the seeds. You don't need to practice gardening now. Bullpucky. You need to practice gardening now. In fact, you need to start growing stuff now, so you're not spending money on the fresh tomatoes or the lettuce or the spinach, whatever, in the store. You're growing it yourself, so you're saving money, and you're able to put that other money towards other preps. But also, everyone needs to realize that a garden is not simple as throwing seeds in the ground and throwing water on it. Some years you'll have a bumper crop of one particular crop. The next year, that crop fails and something else is a bumper crop. So you need to have a garden, a variety of plants, so you can grow stuff, so you can find out what does and doesn't grow, what grows good in your area and doesn't grow good. What could grow good in your area might be winter squash, and someone in someone else's area, they couldn't grow winter squash if you paid them $1 million to. Oh, Mother says, finally, sorry, late, finally dry enough to cut the grass. Yep, I've been there a few times. All right, now, if you're planning on storing foods, you need to test the foods you're planning to store. Because if you test those foods and you decide, this is nasty, I don't like this, I don't want to eat this, it's best to test it before you buy 3 months supply of that food. So you want to test the foods before you start storing them. The next one preppers should be doing, that many make the mistake of not doing, is practice event response plans. Now, some of you are going, what's all these big fluent words? Okay, say you have an event response plan for tornado. So it's for the tornadoes, the event, you have a response plan, what you're going to do to that. You need to practice it. Wildfire, you need to practice the wildfire, what you're going to do for a wildfire. Urban fire, what are you going to do for an urban firestorm? Or what are you going to do for a household fire? Your house is on fire. How are you going to respond to it? Does everybody know how to respond to it? So that's something that everybody should be practicing, but a lot of preppers don't practice their plans. The next 7, be well-rounded in getting supplies. Don't just concentrate on one thing. Oh, I got 500 pounds of pasta. I think you're going to be a little sick of pasta if that's all you have to eat. Be a little more rounded. You need to have meats. You need to have some vegetables. You need to have some sauces to go with that pasta. You need to have some cheeses. You need to have more things than just a couple of items. It's called food fatigue. Lewis is here. Yes, especially nowadays, especially with Gen Alphas and what's the other generation before Gen Alpha? You know, the millennials and stuff. Like, I tried calling them to deliver a pre-cooked meal for me, but they're not. They can't make it out here because of the storm. Yeah. And that's the thing too on the garden. If your garden has a bumper crop of one thing and not something else, you can trade that with somebody else that has a bumper crop of the thing that you don't have. All right. So speaking. All right. So being well-rounded in getting your supplies. Now going to weapons. You don't need the latest and greatest high-tech $40,000 rifle when a nice $150 rifle will work fine for getting you some food. You need to have a basic weapon. You know, select your basic weapons first. You know, a small caliber rifle, large caliber rifle, shotgun, and pistol. Those, you know, if you have one of each, you can do pretty good because you only got 2 hands, and you can't be shooting them all at the same time. Yeah, but if you have a small caliber rifle for getting rid of pests and stuff, or maybe hunting rabbits or squirrels or something like that, and then you got a bigger caliber for bringing down elk or deer or moose or 2-legged polecats. You know, you do what you have to do. And then you got, you know, a good shotgun can bring down, you know, with the different loads in it, can bring it down a variety of food, game, as well as pests as well. All right. Preserve your own food. That is another failing of a lot of preppers. They don't learn how to preserve the food. Oh, I got 5 years worth of food. Do you know how to add more to that? What do you mean? Do you know how to add more food to your supplies? What do you mean? Do you know how to grow the food? Do you know how to can it, preserve it, freeze dry it, dehydrate it, whatever you need to do to it? No, but I got 10 years worth of food. So, you know, a lot of them don't know how to preserve their own food. Train with your gear. You know, go out training with your backpack on and your hiking boots. Get used to hiking. Train with your defensive weapons at the gun range. You know, train with your canning gear. Train with your gardening gear. Practice gardening. Get out there, practice, and start growing stuff. You know, so whatever the gear, all your gear is, make sure you know how to use it. If you spend a lot of money on your gear, it's wasted unless you know how to use it. So you need to train yourself to know how to use it. Excellent, Tammy. John, the problem is if you have a whole bunch of extra canned foods and there's something that none of your family will eat, odds are you're going to have a hard time finding someone who does want to eat them. You know, it goes back to that goes back to the simple thing of store what you eat what you store. Why you even take the chance of buying stuff that you aren't going to like? And the problem with trading them off, unless you know who you're trading to, that could be a double-edged sword or a two-headed snake that's going to bite you. Uh-oh. Utah Mike says he just lost the feed. I'm looking at myself over here. It looks like I'm still working over there. Yeah, still working over there. Fine. Yeah. It's back. It was on my side of things. Okay, yeah. All righty. So let's see. So after you need to train with your gear. Now, a lot of preppers do not do this, and they need to learn situational awareness. And it's harder than you think, especially for those that are walking around going, they're glued to their phone and they're not paying attention to what's around them. That's one thing a lot of, I hate to say it, even older folks are getting that way too, walking around with a phone, eyes glued to a phone and just like not paying attention to what's going on around them. But even if you're not with eyes glued to the phone, you have to be learning situational awareness, what to do when you walk into a restaurant, when you walk into a store. You need to pay attention. Okay, here's the door. Are there any other doors? Where are the emergency exits? What's going on in the store? Do I need to stop and back out really quick? There's something going on in there that I don't want to be part of. So that's, learning situational awareness and learning to keep your eyes on what's going on around you is something that most people need to learn how to do. Once you've learned how to do it, then there are several games out there you can play with kids and stuff to get them learning situational awareness. And of course, there's the one game that was from, before I was a little kid. I Spy with My Little Eye. Yeah. Get everyone looking around trying to find out, all right, what's he looking at? What does he see? Excellent, Mike. Excellent, John. All right. Let's see. Next one here. For those that have a bug out plan or need to figure they're going to have to bug out, practice bug out hikes. Get your backpack on, put it on, and just put some lightweight in it and practice bugging out. See how fast you can get out the routes you have planned to get out of the area to wherever you were planning to bug out to. Then the next weekend, practice it with 5 pounds more in the pack. And then the next week, 5 more pounds in the pack. And practice all your different routes. And every weekend, practice it with 5 more pounds in there till you get up to a max weight. And I just got an ad here. Something about PDFs, an off-brand of PDFs. Excellent, Mike. I want to get cabbage at farmer's market to make sauerkraut. Nice. Let's see. So practice your bug out hikes. Make sure you get your weight up to what you want to carry. And then remember what you actually want to carry and what you can carry maybe two totally different things. Oh, I got all this stuff. I'm going to carry it with me. You put it all on. It's like, I can't even stand up with this on. That's one of the biggest drawbacks to preppers' plans to bug out. They think they're going to bug out with all their supplies. No. All right, let's see. Plan out your dietary needs. This is taking the food storage a little bit farther. Some people have specific dietary needs. They can't eat tomatoes because of, I just forgot the word, the stuff in the red, dark red tomatoes, and even into the orange tomatoes that contributes to kidney stones. And so they can't eat the tomatoes. And then the spinach, same thing in the spinach. There are things in the spinach and kale that contribute to kidney stones. So people have a high susceptibility to kidney stones, and they're getting them all the time. They may need to plan out their dietary needs for prepping so they're not storing the things that are causing the kidney stones. So you need to plan out dietary needs. And if you have some members of the family, like we have a couple of grandkids that you give them high fructose corn syrup, they're off the wall, and they're going to have a tough time for the next couple of days. So my daughter finally got rid of all the Smucker jams that had high fructose corn syrup in them, and she's getting the natural stuff that only has pure cane sugar in it. I want a can more meat, chicken, and pork. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yep. Oh, I can't remember the channel. It's one of the ones I stopped watching a couple of years ago. But yeah, they were showing a lot of their preps. They probably had like 50 to 100 cases of soda. Yeah, we're not going to get this anymore, so I got plenty of soda. And I say, yeah, I can see you got a lot of it around your belly too. You make me look really skinny. So, yeah, the dietary is missing from a lot of preppers' pantries. All right. Okay, just reading stuff on here. Mike, seriously, on Mondays with the canning with Tammy and Tammy from Rebel Canners and Mark from Chef Tech, when you can chicken, beef, pork, turkey, whatever, if you do it right, that meat will last 5 years, sometimes longer. And then you're not dependent on your freezer. One of the things that we wanted to try to do ourselves is try to get more of the food of the beef and pork and turkey canned up so it's on the shelf stable, protected, and if the power goes out, we don't have to worry about powering 2 or 3 chest freezers. Granted, we'll always have a chest freezer going, and we may have 2 when we get a fresh side of beef. So, but then one of the things we want to do is be able to can it and process it, freeze dry it, make jerky, do anything we can to preserve it, even salting beef too, so it lasts years without having to be in a freezer. All right, next group. All right, Now, don't be a social media butterfly. In other words, showing everything you have to everybody. You need to show some constraint in what you're showing. You can share stuff with friends saying, hey, I found this. It's really great, guys. You need to check it out too. Some new recipe or a sale on certain food items. Get your friends interested that way. But you don't have to show absolutely everything you have. I have never shown I haven't even shown a quarter of what I have. And so, I don't, here on YouTube, I talk about stuff. I've done videos on different things, but I've never shown all I have. I just show stuff. This is what I picked up for my prepper pantry haul, but I don't show everything I have. So, ad for a seat cushion. Yeah, I could use a good seat cushion. Same here, Utah Mike. I know how it operates, and I know the downfalls of it. You won't catch me doing that one. Yeah, I got another pop-up here. Southern Blush Homestead will be live at the top of the hour. Yeah. All right, let's see. Okay, so yeah, don't be a social media butterfly. Don't show everything. And if you're going to be going on vacation for a long time, don't be saying, oh, we're going to be on a cruise for 2 weeks. Because what does that do? That lets everybody that watches you know, hey, so-and-so is going to be on a cruise for 2 weeks, and they share it out. And someone spots that and goes, oh, that person's going to be gone for 2 weeks? Hey, yeah, all right, I heard that. Pretty cool, huh? Wait a minute, where do they live again? Next thing you know, someone just found out where you're living, and you're not going to be home for 2 weeks. Or they get hold of your Facebook page or Twitter page, whatever, and decide to go back and start looking at your photos and see how many of your photos have GPS coordinates tagging on them, so they go, oh, that's where the person is. I know where to go to clear out a house. All right. This next one has to go. Here's the negative side of this next one, number 16. Don't be a lone wolf. Even if that lone wolf is your immediate family, the whole family is a little mini pack. You need to form or join a group / community / family. You want to be of enough large size group that if everything goes to heck in a handbasket and we are in a full-blown Milwaukee situation for the next 20 to 30 years, you're going to have a group that can support you. Because you got to remember, you got to have, in that type of situation, you need to have people able to rotate to different positions and still get sleep. You need to have those that can that are going to be on watch, certain number on watch, to keep an eye over the area while everyone else is sleeping and working and doing everything during the day. So you need a group will keep you alive longer than being a lone wolf. Number 17, store medical supplies. This is another procrastination failure of a lot of preppers. They understand, oh, I need to get more medical supplies. I need to get more dry amoxicillin. I need to get more of these tablets and more of these pills, stuff that don't go bad. But they kind of put it off and they don't store the medical supplies they need. How many people here you need have a CPAP machine and you need CPAP supplies? How many of you have the extra little filter that goes in the intake of the back of the machine to keep the dust and pollens out of your machine? I think I picked up 25. It had to be a 50 pack. I picked up a 50 pack off of Amazon that fit my machine. So, yeah, me too. But I want to make sure that I have everything to take care of my kids and my grandkids, because part of my supplies are going to be for them. You know, that's going to be part of my legacy, is keeping them alive. So this, thermometers. How many people have more than just one or two thermometers? We used to get a bunch of the kits that had a thermometer in it, and it had several of the little sleeves on it, so you could put it in there. You put it in someone's mouth. You take it out. You throw the sleeve away, and the thermometer's still clean. We had several of those kits we got for free at different emergency preparedness fairs. So we got several of those around. We also have the infrared one. We got the head swiping one. So we got a bunch of different type of thermometers to check people's temperatures for their medical supplies. Band-Aids, gauze, ointments, all those medical supplies. No, I did not hear that, Tibor. But yeah, I need to. He's not the only one talking about stuff. Possibly as early as 2030. Others are talking mid in the mid 30s or early 40s. For certain catastrophes that happen on a cycle that come around again. It was on a Joe Rogan podcast. I'll have to look that one up. Let's see. Power audit. I know a lot of preppers talk about, I need to get a generator. I need to get this. I need to get that. But they don't know exactly how much power they need. And was it last week or was it the week before? We were talking about, power stations versus generators and stuff. Find out what you need so you can get whatever it is you're going to get that'll produce, that it's rated at twice as much power as what you need. So if you get something that's rated for 5,000 watts and you need 5,000 watts, that thing's going to be running hot all the time. Where if you need 5,000 watts and you get an 8,000 watt generator or a 9,000 watt generator or a power station or whatever else, it's not going to be running at full capacity, getting hot, heating up all the wirings and circuit boards and everything else. So a power audit is something that a lot of preppers fail to do and they need to do. Plan out other water uses. So we talked about having sources for fresh water and stuff, basically your potable water, the 1 gallon a day per person, you need to have, you got some people, you're going to have other water uses you need to take care of. And a lot of preppers totally skip over this. A lot of preppers fail to get enough water, period. But then they fail to get water for other uses, such as washing your clothes, washing your dishes, cleaning, washing your hands, to keep your hands clean before you go and eat. So, there are a lot of other water uses, and people fail to plan out other water uses and figure out exactly how much water they're really going to need. Let's see. Yep. A watt meter helps you figure out things big time. Okay, hang on a second here. So Tibor, I take it that's the Joe. Thank you. Okay. So that looks like that's Joe Rogan. So let me open that in a new tab. All right. Thank you, Tibor. Oh, no guts, no glory. Put a little alcohol on it. It'll work. Yeah. All right. Plan okay. Backup medical equipment. Now we did store medical supplies. Backup equipment. If you have a CPAP and it dies, what are you going to do? Do you have a backup CPAP? Yeah. Do you have do you have backup? You need to take blood pressure all the time. Do you have a backup blood pressure cuff? Do you have backup stethoscopes in case the little rubber tubing on it starts falling apart and needs to be replaced? Backup thermometers, of course. But all the different backup medical supply you might need. Now, the last one here is most preppers haven't even heard of a safe haven plan. A safe haven plan, for those that don't know, isn't a bug out location per se where I'm bugging out and not coming back. No, a safe haven plan is, we need to evacuate while this wildfire is going on and have a safe place to go to so that once the fire's out, we can come back. And that's a safe haven plan. At Homeland Security, we had everybody was required to give at least 2 safe haven locations, a primary and a secondary. And so you had to figure out, okay, all right, first safe haven plan is going to be at least 30 miles away. And you find a family member 30 miles away that you could go stay with them, even if it's just pulling into the driveway with an RV and be able to park the RV in their driveway. The next one was supposed to be 150 miles away. So if there's an event that is bigger and your first safe haven is included in the first event, you have someplace farther out to go to. Now I know some of you follow Steve at Corsair Trainers, and he's talked about this several times, having rings of evacuation to go out farther and farther. So that's when a safe haven comes in. You have it preset with them. If something happens, can we come to you? If something happens where you're at, you're welcome to come here until the event gets resolved and you can go home. Aquatic News Network, welcome. And Prepper Girl says, I knew about that. Yeah, so safe havens is something that, some do, some don't. There are a lot of people that have never heard of a safe haven plan. So if you don't have one, get one. If you have a prepper friend who's talking about stuff, and ask them, do you have a safe haven plan? And if you get the deer in the headlight thing, what? Teach them. So, all righty. So this is part 2 of major mistakes that preppers make. And so here we got over 21 things here. This time we went over 12. We refreshed the 12 from several years ago, and then we updated stuff here. And so look it over, talk it over with the family, see what you need to do to fix things and make things work better, and what things here you should be going, I'm such a dummy, I should have been doing that. So hopefully everybody can do that. So let me grab something else here up here. Oh, it's on this over here. My computer's straightened out here. All right, coming up here. Thursday is the midnight ride. That's comes on at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I'm just had a little math problem there. So that'll be 10 p.m. Eastern for the midnight ride. Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound. First day of summer, we're going to talk about all the things you should be getting ready for summer, or should be already ready for summer, and ideas of things to do to keep everybody happy and keep the spirits up. Saturday, back here on Gray Man Prepping for Survival Saturday. A lot of people haven't heard about this one, but I've seen several channels talking about it. Oh, there's going to be a super volcano erupting at the New Madrid Fault. Well, okay, so we're going to explore that. The event is after the New Madrid super volcano erupts. What are your plans? And we're going to try to keep it semi-serious, folks. Next Monday, ways to protect your canning jars on Camp Patton Family Compound. And then next Tuesday here is odors that can cause you trouble in disasters. So that ought to be a good one. Odors that can cause you trouble in disasters next Tuesday. Anything else here? Excellent. Well, Tammy, if you don't want to make a video for it, send it to me or Kaylin, and we'll make videos for it. Or Angel's Homestead will make a video for it. All righty. So with that, everyone, remember, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps. Water, food, medicine, clothing. Learn a new skill every month. And try growing more food. All right? Take care, and we'll see you Thursday night for the midnight ride. And I will be back in Idaho for that. All right, everyone. Take care.